Is it useless? Have you tried? No avail? Let's talk about the band formerly known as Daylight, Superheaven, born in 2014. Obviously, the band has had an explosion of popularity within the younger community on TikTok, but saying they're only known because of that app is utterly disgusting, and whoever says that should be in a 32-hour timeout session in the corner of an abandoned asylum in the United States. Anyways, I thought it would be cool to talk about this album and talk about, Superheaven, because I haven't really done that on this channel. This is now my second album review, and my first one was on Fleshwater, so you can go check that out if you want. And with my reviews, I don't really give a score system at the end. I kind of just talk about how I enjoyed it or if I think it's trash, stuff like that. I give you sentences, and those sentences come from an honest opinion that you guys can talk about in the comment section. It's much more of a conversation starter than anything. I don't want to be like, here's the album and it's a 3, okay, goodbye. You know how it is. And before I start, I'm going to say like and subscribe because it does help out a lot. And thank you, by the way, for hitting 5K, 5,000 followers on this channel. Let's freaking go. You guys rock, and I always get a bunch of nice comments saying how I'm the only one talking about these bands on YouTube. So you know what? Let's just keep the music alive. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, like I said. I'm actually surprised you guys actually enjoy watching me, and that only gives me energy and fuels me to go on this grind even deeper, so thanks. But enough of the sappy talk, let's talk about the album Jar by Superheaven. Superheaven has a lot of chemistry, and it is on full display, and that's a very important thing, so I want to start with that. You can feel it and you can hear it, and that's always a great starting point and feeling created for a person that's listening. Each band member clearly knows their role and what they do best, so that's very good. The band does have 2 vocalists, and with other bands that might be a problem because one vocalist wants to sing more than the other and whatever, but that problem within other bands doesn't bother Superheaven whatsoever when you listen to them. And whenever you have 2 vocalists, there's always 2 different point of views, and there's just 2 different energies, so that's always a plus. If one of the vocalists isn't really doing it for me on one song, then the next song might have different juice and more juice with a different vocalist. And I'm not saying that one songwriter is better than the other, one singer is better than the other, but there's always pros and cons, obviously. So, and both singers have this smooth level of singing where it's like they kind of have that swag and that kick behind it, so it's like, wow, you can easily hear that swag and confidence within, so it kind of makes every song that much better. And that does sound like a stupid point to someone that's like, why are you talking about swag? We're talking about music. Dude, it's important, and if you don't understand swag, well, whatever, but I'm just saying they give this cool breeze type of energy whenever they're on the mic, and you can't really create that. You either have it or you don't, and this band has it in abundance, so that's kind of their secret sauce. The other part of the band's identity is the killer riffs that they provide for the listeners, and I don't know the songwriting process for the band because I've never talked to the band, but I feel like the riffs come first before anything else. And I'm not saying that the lyrics are very forgettable or anything like that. I just feel like the humongous sound within the band's instrumentation is very noticeable and humongous. And speaking of their sound, I kind of want to talk about that live setting sound that's very important for a band. I've only seen the band one time live, and I have some details within that realm that they were in. And the first time I seen them was actually at the Sick New World Festival, so it was a bigger setting than usual. And usually whenever that happens, bands have some trouble finding their sound with the amps and just all that stuff. And that makes sense because I think it's more difficult to find the perfect sound at a bigger venue festival like that than like a bar or a regular venue. But with Superheaven, they didn't really have any problems at all that I could notice. Everything sounded crispy, from the vocals to the instruments to everything. And at the time, all that I can think about when I was listening to them, I was like, dang, if they're this good at a big setting, how are they in a smaller setting? It probably sounds ridiculously awesome. And speaking of the album Jar, which is why I'm here, the album doesn't start off too strong in my humble opinion. And to me, they start off with the least strong song on the whole album, Sponge. And the part that I'm not really into within the whole song is the melody. The riff is cool and I don't have a problem with that, but the lyrics have a hard time of grabbing my attention. And I know I'm in a small pond with this opinion because I've said it on TikTok before and a lot of people thought I was crazy, but I don't know, that's just me. But the next 4 songs that follow Sponge are really insane, starting with the song Life in a Jar. The way that song kicks in is really crazy. It could definitely get a crowd going. It's so bouncy. And not only that, they kind of showcase that their melody making ability is on high gear in this song. on a high gear. I'm fully in the zone whenever this song is appearing within my earbuds. Very explosive tune, and the song Crawl as well. Crawl is kind of very fast-paced and emotional too, and Superheaven does have that bone in their body where it's like they can tell a good story. They can tell all these feelings and emotions that makes you very, not sad, but you know what I'm saying. It's not always swag rock, I guess, right? Which is a good thing, because you want to feel like some songs are relatable, maybe not all the time, but when they do feel relatable, they hit, and this song definitely hits. They do a great job of creating these stories with purpose. The 6th track on the album is called Last October, and that's pretty much the halfway point because there's 12 songs on here, and I'm not really into the song that much as I want to be. Yet again, another song with a fast-paced riff, but the vocal yelling thing isn't really crispy enough for me, and I don't know, it doesn't really grab my attention. I most of the time skip this song. But after Last October is the stronger back half of the album. The next song is obviously the most popular song, Youngest Daughter, a song that exploded on TikTok last year, and I feel like this is where TikTok started moving towards good music in terms of popular sounds that were going around, instead of those songs that had funny lines here or there. And I feel like a lot of newer bands were born because of songs like this. Or these. A lot of people wanted to pick up an instrument and wanted to play the riff, which is always a good thing. I don't care how that happens. I just love whenever someone wants to pick up an instrument because of a song. It's always dope. And music on TikTok is very funny, because if you released a song 10 or 15 years ago, it'll probably be popular right now or next week. In the song Youngest Daughter in itself, I already feel like I don't have to say too much. It starts off very beautifully. There's a beautiful story within. Everything from the riff to the drums to the bass to every guitar on here is just awesome. The song did turn into a meme a little bit towards, a couple months ago, I want to say, which sucks, but I feel like good music will always pull through no matter what. But yeah, every song after Last October is pretty wicked. The song No One's Deserving has a catchy riff and melody. In On It has a very catchy chorus, and everything about that song is catchy. The closing track, Around the Railing, is a very sweet song where it's kind of like thanks for hanging, thanks for listening. I will say that the album doesn't have the craziest variety in sound, and you guys know I say that all the time. There are some songs on here that feel like part 2s, but I want to highlight the song Hole in the Ground, because that's a little bit different of a song that they have on this album. It's a lot more slower paced, and it's a lot of like this lovey-dovey sounding lyrics and overall song, which I had no problem with whatsoever. I thought it was really good. I was like, dang, they should probably step into this a little bit more. Kind of indie rock with the pace and the riff and everything. I loved it. When listening back to the album, I don't have that many crazy takes or anything like that. Sure, like I said, they have some moments where it's a little bit repetitive, but it's not overbearing or anything. There's a lot more sunny spots instead of negative clouds. And like I said in the beginning, there's a huge amount of chemistry across the whole album. The instrumentation and production is not a mess. It's very clean and punchy, and it's in your face when it has to be, and it's very cool and smooth when it has to be as well. I will say that the lyrics and songwriting isn't like the most top tier in the world of all time or anything like that, but the songwriting and storytelling is still very good. There is no song where I'm like, damn, this is some hot garbage. Like, I don't even want to say the song title or anything like that. I'm gonna throw up. But I also want to say that this is not a perfect album, and a perfect album has a lot of definitions for a lot of different people, obviously, but for me, let me tell you what that means. To me, I just look at consistency. I look at anthem-like songs or memorable songs. I look to see if there's no dull or boring or skippable moments. And the most important thing to me is, does the album hold up with time? Because some albums obviously hit whenever they release and you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. But then years pass and you look back and you're just like, what was I listening to? I don't think I have any negative emotions looking at this Jar album from Superheaven. And that's all I really have to say about this album. Am I tripping? Am I wrong? Is it perfect to you? Does it get stale? Is it boring? Is it terrible actually? Is it the worst thing you've ever heard? Is it the best thing you've ever heard? If it's the worst thing you've ever heard, I don't think that's the right opinion, and I know music is subjective, but you're stupid. I might make another Superheaven album review. Ours is Chrome, anyone? I don't know. Let me know. Or let me know what other album you want me to talk about, because there's a bunch of albums in the world. I don't know. That's pretty much all I have to say about this album. I know some of you are going to say that this album is perfect. I don't think so, but it's still very, very, very good. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Like and subscribe. Keep the music alive. Superheaven, Jar will take you very far.